welcome back to my channel. I'm so sorry that I haven't uploaded in a few weeks now. I think it's been 2 weeks. I've just been so busy with babysitting and work and I just haven't had enough time to sit down and film. So today I thought I'd just do quite like a chatty chilled video as I'm just sat at home with literally leggings, a hoodie on, and I've just thrown on some makeup because I thought it was just quite nice to do a chilled video as I love watching these. And they're fun to film because they're so simple and they don't take much editing. So when I'm in a rush like today, I'm going to get this uploaded tonight, I don't need to worry about taking a long time to edit. So today I'm going to be filming a childhood questions tag. I found some questions online and I'm going to be using them as well as using my own. So if you would like to see that, then carry on watching. Okay, so the first one is, what was your favourite vacation you went on as a child? So when I was really small, probably about between 5 and 10, we used to go on like proper big family holidays. It'd be me, mum, dad, my auntie, my uncle, my cousins and my grandparents, and we used to go on holiday, so into Mallorca and Bulgaria, so into two different ones, and they're both amazing. So I'd say probably those two because I got to hang out with my cousins. I was people my age, because if you know me, you know I don't have any siblings, so hanging out with my cousins was like the next best thing. So I loved that. We used to play in the pool. It was like an all-inclusive hotel, so we could like go and get food if we were hungry. And yeah, that was probably my favourite holiday as a kid. The second one is, who was your first celebrity crush? My first celebrity crush, like most people, was Zac Efron from High School Musical, because that's the film I grew up with. It's like the first like male influence in a film I've seen, and obviously Zac Efron is a gorgeous person as it is. So him from High School Musical, and then Hairspray. I've seen quite a lot of films with him in, but like most kids my age, the first thing I saw Zac Efron in was High School Musical. Oh, and I've got to say, if you can tell something different with my hair and how I actually had it coloured, it's currently wet because I'm just out of the shower. But I think you can tell by the roots, it's more like whitey blonde because my hair went really brassy and I didn't like it. So I decided to get it coloured and I'm really, really happy with it. Number 3, what did you want to be when you grew up? And from a really young age, I was so set on being an actress, an actor. Well, now that's completely out the window because I'm one of the shyest people you can meet. Obviously my friends might say different because once you get to know me, I am quite bubbly, but like in starting new jobs or starting a new like college or something, I get really anxious. So something like acting wouldn't be good for me, and also I'm not a good actor as it is, so that would help if I could actually act. Number 4, what was your favourite subject at school? And my favourite subject at school through primary school, I think it was PE, because obviously like you don't have to sit down in the classroom. I used to love doing PE, and I think I used to like doing art, but I completely changed when I came to secondary school. They were 2 of my least favourites, and I actually quite enjoyed doing English. English was one of the subjects I kind of excelled at. That was one of my better subjects. And I also, come the end of secondary, I loved doing Spanish and RE. Spanish, I got a really good best friend out of it called Ushia, and it just, I had a good teacher and I had a nice class, and it was something completely different to every other subject I was doing. Yeah. Number 5, how did you find out Santa / the Easter Bunny / the Tooth Fairy wasn't real? Well, I never actually believed in Easter Bunny. It was never really a thing in my house. I think it's really become big the recent years, so I never really had it. I know it's quite an American thing, but I never believed in the Easter Bunny. Tooth Fairy, I don't really know about the Tooth Fairy. I can't really remember. I think it's just when mum stopped putting coins into my pillow, and then I was like, oh, maybe it was just mum. But Santa's quite a funny one. I still believed in Santa till I was quite old, probably like end of primary school, which for some children, I think nowadays especially, is quite old. I don't really know. But because I've got no older siblings, obviously it was easy for me to believe in Santa. But it's when my friend Lauren told me that she found wrapping paper in her mum's spare cupboard, which was the same wrapping paper as her always wrapped in her presents. So I was like, that's suspicious. But yeah, that's probably how I found out, and I think that was like end of primary school, beginning of secondary. Oh, number 6, who was your best friend and how did you meet? My first best friend when I was little was called Megan. I met her when I was 1 and we're still in touch now. My mum's her brother's godmother, so we're still quite close now. And I was 1, she was 2, because obviously I'm an August baby, so I'm normally younger than my friends. So we met her because, I can't actually remember how I met, but I remember bumping into her. Well, I don't remember this, but this is how we always get told. Walking around the churchyard, because she lives right by the main church in our town, so we were just like having a walk around there, and we bumped into each other and we became good friends. We also went to nursery together, danced together, swimming together, school together, so like everything. We sort of did everything together when we were really small. Number 7, what were your favourite sports and hobbies? When I was little, I loved dance. I started dance when I was 4, so when I was very little, and I only stopped last year, so I've been doing dance for a very, very long time. Same with swimming. I started swimming at a very young age, and I think personally that's such a good thing. Like, I'm so glad I had swimming lessons as a kid, because it's such a life skill. So say if you do start drowning, you have more of a chance of surviving than someone who can't swim, because you know how to cope in water. So definitely when I have children, I'm definitely going to teach them to swim and take them to lessons when they're little, because I think it's so important. So yeah, as a kid I always loved to dance and swim, and they're two probably of my favourite hobbies and stuff now. How would you describe yourself as a kid? Nerdy, jock, bully, etc. I'd say I was quite bubbly when I'm around my friends, but very shy if I was around new people, same as I am now really. I was never the loud friend. I was never really like the bossy friend. I was always sort of the one that just went around with what everyone else would do, which is a good or bad thing. Obviously I'm not confrontational, so that's kind of a good thing. But I should have stuck up for myself a lot more as a kid, because I put up with a lot more things than I probably should have, but that was just me. Number 9, who was your role model? I think from a very young age it was my grandparents, because they are two very special people to me. My granddad worked on the railway from the age of probably younger than me, probably about 15, 16, until he was late 60s. So yeah, he's done a lot with his life, and he met so many people through it, and he's still in touch with all of his railway friends. And even though he's now like mid to late 70s, he still goes up to Doncaster and back on his own for different railway what they're called, conferences, and then he goes and meets his friends and goes out for meals and stuff and drinks and stuff, and I just think it's really nice. And he's such a nice guy. He's got no bad blood, and he's just, everyone loves my granddad. And my nan has had arthritis since the age of 30 something, so she had to take a really early retirement, but she's so talented in her own rights. She's so good at painting. Like, if I can find any painting, I'll probably put it in the thumbnail of my nan's paintings, because she's so good at it and just amazing at cooking. They're just two really genuine, kind people, and I've always been close to my grandparents, so they've always been my role model. What advice we could give to your 8-year-old self? And I would probably say you need to stick up for yourself more, because back then, a little bit less now, I'd never stick up for myself. I'd sort of just go with the flow, and even if I wouldn't want to do it, or even if one of my friends or someone at school wasn't being very nice to me, I'd always apologise or do something. Like, even though I was in the right, I knew I was in the right, I'd still sort of back down, which I shouldn't have. I also should have said, just take every opportunity, because at primary school and secondary school you get given so many opportunities to do different clubs and different trips, and I would often turn them down and not take part because I didn't think I was good enough. But now looking back, I could have opened so many more doors to myself, and yeah, I really wish I did do that back then. So I really would say to myself, take every opportunity and don't be so shy. So those are the questions I found. I see if I can find any more. If not, I'll try and think of some off the top of my head. This is a good one. What was your favourite show as a kid? And I never grew up with Nickelodeon or Sky or Disney or whatever it is at all. I lived on Freeview. We were never like the wealthiest of families, so we sort of had Freeview, but to be fair, I loved it. I loved CBeebies, and on CBeebies I remember loving Balamori. I don't have a favourite, I'm just going to list some that I loved. Balamori, I think I loved the Tweenies, I loved Story Makers, that was a really classic one for me. And I'd say those three are probably my 3 favourites, and yeah, I can still recite all their theme songs, and to be fair, I can probably still remember all of the episodes, as I think childhood TV is so good, it's so happy, and to be fair, I really miss it. Number 7, did you ever feel like sick at school? And to be fair, I don't think I did. Obviously those days where I had the littlest pain and I probably could have stayed at school and I was like, I need to go home, but I never like faked sick to skip school, because I actually quite like school. I loved seeing my friends, and obviously primary school isn't really strenuous, so I quite enjoyed it. What was my favourite game to play? And that's a hard one. I think I used to love like all the classic playground games. So I used to love playing Duck Goose, It, Stuck in the Mud, all of those. And at home, when I was little, I think about 8, 9, I got the Wii, so I was obsessed with the Wii. I used to play on Wii Fit, Mario Kart. I think those two are like the classic games which everyone who owned a Wii had, and I still play them to this day when I'm bored, or like we always play it with a group of friends around. It's still so much fun. Number 12, who was your favourite artist? As in like music artists. And I never listened to music. I don't think many kids, I don't know if they do nowadays, but definitely my age, you didn't really listen to music the same and appreciate it the same as now. But I definitely think I used to like listening to Steps, like 5, 6, 7, 8. I used to like listening to all that, or like the pop parties, and that's like on music, but especially pop parties. And I used to have pop princesses, and I had like Alicia Dixon on it, like all of the old school like classic 2000s pop, and it's so different now. Looking back on it, it's so cheese, but I love it. Number 13, well, I'm just on another thing now, so it's number 13 on this. What was your favourite after school snack? And I used to go to my childminders every Wednesday, and I remember we'd have to have different fruits. I think she'd give us apple, like a chopped up apple, and a box of raisins, or it changed every week, but fruit. And then once we had that, we had a hot cross bun, because we were all like obsessed with hot cross buns. So I remember that being my favourite after school snack, because I don't think I really snacked when I was at home, but that was like, I still remember that to this day, like with my friend Bethany was there, and yeah, it was just fun, and I loved going to our childminders. Did you eat from the cafeteria, cafe, or pack lunch? I think it depended on the days. Personally, I never was a fan of school roast dinner, so I'd always have packed lunch that day, or if they had like a tuna wrap, I think they sometimes had, I'd have that. And obviously I think most kids had school dinners Fridays, because it's always like fish and chips, sausage and chips. But definitely a mixture. I didn't just have school dinners, I didn't just have packed lunches, it was definitely depended on what there was on the menu. So yeah, that's all the questions I have found. I can't really think of any more. I think I've covered quite a lot of childhood things. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below for new content. I'm obviously going to be going to Reading next week, so I'll try and vlog that for you. And I've ordered so many things for Reading, and I'm going shopping tomorrow, so I'm going to be filming a haul. If you'd like that, please let me know. And yeah, I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.